I had no inkling that a tempest was gathering just beyond the bathroom door. As I scrubbed my hands, a disquieting strain permeated the atmosphere, and I felt an unshakable premonition that the delicate tranquility was on the verge of collapse. My pulse quickened, and the sound of my own breathing seemed to magnify the looming turmoil. What my stepmother was scheming in the shadows would upend everything. I was unprepared for the bombshell awaiting me when I crossed the threshold back into the world beyond that door. In an unforeseen twist of destiny, I found myself staggered within the very haven I called home. The air was heavy with suspense as my stepmother, Lydia, a dynamic presence at 62, abruptly became the orchestrator of my deception. From the instant I re-entered my father's house, I detected the undercurrent of unease rippling beneath the surface. Yet nothing could have braced me for the devastating disclosure that obliterated the serenity of that seemingly unremarkable Tuesday morning. As I ventured back into the familiar avenues of my hometown, a pressing urgency seized me. Newly released from the rigors of college, I was propelled by an urgent need to amass my resources to fortify my future before the specters of doubt enveloped me. While I was immersed in my academic pursuits, my father, Robert, made a decision that would irrevocably shift the trajectory of our lives. He remarried. Lydia was a vibrant whirlwind, a luminous spirit whose laughter cut through the gloom, kindling even the bleakest days with a spark of optimism. She demolished every stereotype I had ever held about stepmothers, and in an unexpected turn, our connection blossomed in ways I hadn't foreseen, often surpassing the bond I shared with my father. That pivotal morning, I found myself in the bathroom, the air dense with expectation. As I readied myself for a job interview that carried the weight of my aspirations, the shower thundered with a persistent drone, steam curling like a spectral veil around me. As I wrestled with the storm of my own nerves, opportunities like this don't present themselves daily, do they? While I mentally rehearsed my responses, a jarring knock echoed through the room's silence, sending a chill down my spine. Aiden. Lydia's voice cut through the dense mist, soft yet piercingly clear, sending another shiver through me. Is anyone in there? Yes, Lydia. The moment has come as I prepare for my interview. I redialed the number, my heart pounding as I struggled to conceal the strain in my tone. A heavy silence blanketed the room, thick with expectation, before her voice broke through again. Pardon my interruption, but an urgent matter requires me to fetch something from the bathroom. Do you dare to protest? Step inside if you dare. The air is laden with suspense, and secrets hover in the shadows. What lies beyond this doorway? Only time will unveil the truth, I replied, my hands cutting through the fogged glass, revealing a world cloaked in enigma. The door groaned open, a spectral murmur in the quiet. As Lydia glided inside, her light blue robe fluttered like a phantom's shroud. Her silver hair, neatly gathered into a precise bun, shimmered in the dim light, hinting at untold secrets and a tension that hung thickly in the air. I expected her swift and silent exit, a mere wraith slipping through the night's crevices. But as her hand plunged into the cabinet's depths, my eyes were drawn to the loose ties of her robe, swaying like a cautionary banner in the room's stillness. It parted slightly, offering a fleeting glimpse of her bare shoulder and collarbone. A moment frozen in time, charged with unspoken strain. Heat flooded my cheeks, a fierce wave of embarrassment urging me to look away in a frantic bid to guard my vulnerability. "Is everything all right?" I asked, my voice quivering as I fought to maintain my composure. She turned to me, her eyes gleaming with a cryptic spark, as if she held truths that could unravel the very fabric of existence. "Oh, I'm fine," she murmured, her voice barely audible, as she gripped the small bottle tightly in her hand. The tension lingered, dense and tangible, as if the walls themselves were eavesdropping, awaiting the storm's eruption. "Are you feeling the weight of expectation as your interview approaches?" A sliver of truth slipped from my lips, a desperate clutch at the fleeting distraction threatening to undo me. Her smile sliced through the strain, a radiant warmth in the gloom, sparking a glimmer of hope amid the looming uncertainty. In this crucial moment, Aiden, the burden of expectation hangs heavily. The world is watching, and the stakes are unprecedented. You must rise to the challenge, for greatness lies just beyond the horizon. Will you seize it? The answer resides within you. In a world veiled in uncertainty, the greatest trial lies in the simplest truth: to embrace your authentic self. Will you dare to reveal the depths of your soul, or will the shadows of doubt engulf you? The choice is yours, and the stakes have never been higher. They will witness the extraordinary depths of your brilliance, a revelation that will leave them breathless. Her words exploded in the air, a potent force as ever. Lydia possessed a captivating power that kindled a fire within you, making you believe no obstacle was too great, no peak too high. I nodded, a wave of gratitude coursing through me. But as she turned to leave, the belt of her robe betrayed her, slipping loose with a suddenness that sent a jolt through the air. In that fleeting instant, the fabric fell open, exposing a world of vulnerability and tension that hung palpably between us. Time itself seemed to halt, suspended in a moment thick with strain. My gaze was transfixed, my disbelief tangible. As reality twisted before me, there she was, Lydia, my stepmother, laid bare before my eyes, a chilling tension saturating the air. With a sharp gasp, she yanked the robe shut, her heart racing in a maelstrom of panic, her cheeks blazing with an intensity that could set the air alight. "Oh my goodness, Aiden, I'm so sorry," she stammered, her voice trembling as she fumbled with the tie, panic surging through her. "I never meant for this to happen, nor did I foresee the consequences lurking in the shadows." I was equally stunned, my thoughts spiraling in a chaotic whirlwind, teetering on the edge of insanity. "It's okay," I blurted, my voice barely a whisper as I turned away, desperate to grant her the solitude she so urgently needed. It was an accident, a fateful twist of destiny that would forever alter the course of lives entwined in a web of uncertainty. Indeed, just an accident," she echoed, her voice shaking, a veil of humiliation cloaking her as the weight of the moment pressed heavily upon us. "I beg you, keep this secret from your dad. Just this once. The weight of it lingers, a fragile thread that could snap at any moment. Trust me, it's for the best." He would be consumed by despair. With a hesitant nod, I found myself swept into a vortex of confusion, grappling with the gravity of the situation. Whispers hovered in the shadows, binding us in an unbreakable pact. "This is our little secret. a truth shrouded in mystery, waiting to unravel at the most unexpected moment. In an instant, she fled the bathroom, a fleeting shadow, leaving me ensnared in a storm of swirling thoughts and unanswered questions. I pressed my back against the cold, unyielding sink, my heart pounding fiercely within my chest. My mind raced, disbelief clawing at the edges of my sanity. My 62-year-old stepmother stood before me in a moment that shattered every notion I thought I understood, leaving me breathless and bewildered. For the rest of the day, I was engulfed in a suffocating fog of despair, rendered utterly powerless. The interview loomed before me, a shadowy specter of uncertainty, while my dreams for the future slipped through my fingers like grains of sand, leaving only a haunting void in their wake. My mind was consumed by thoughts of Lydia, the way her robe had carelessly fallen, and the haunted expression that crossed her face as the shocking truth dawned upon her. It was a visceral jolt, a deep-seated turmoil that clawed at the very fabric of her being. A presence lingered in the shadows, elusive and haunting, slipping through my grasp like smoke. I could feel it, a weight in the air, but its true nature remained just out of reach, teasing my senses with an unsettling mystery. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that danced ominously around me, I navigated through the crowd with a palpable sense of urgency. Every step was calculated, every glance averted, as I desperately sought to evade her presence, knowing any encounter could ignite an unbearable tension in the air. Yet each fleeting moment I glimpsed her, a fierce heat ignited within me, sparking a tempest of emotions I could scarcely contain. She wore a mask of indifference, yet an undercurrent of unease crackled in the atmosphere, a haunting melody that had never played before. I slipped beneath the covers, a desperate plea for sleep to erase the day's haunting echoes. Yet, as I lay there staring at the ceiling, that moment haunted me, replaying relentlessly in the shadows of my thoughts. A dark cloud loomed over my mind, whispering that I mustn't dwell on it. Yet the temptation was irresistible. She was my stepmother, for heaven's sake. Still, an unsettling tension lingered, refusing to be ignored. There was an undeniable force surrounding Lydia, an enigmatic allure that ensnared my senses, beckoning me closer with an intensity I couldn't comprehend. The next morning, I stumbled upon a note lying ominously on the kitchen table, its words hastily scrawled in Lydia's meticulous handwriting, sending a shiver down my spine. My heart raced, a wild drumbeat echoing in my throat as I absorbed the weight of those words. What secrets lay behind her desire to speak? What urgency flickered in her eyes, hinting at a revelation that could change everything? The air thickened with anticipation as the question hung in the balance, begging for an answer that could shatter the silence. Had she revealed the secret to Dad? Was she plotting to mend the rift? Or was there a deeper game at play? What if a tempest lurked just out of sight, waiting to unleash its fury? I clenched the note tightly in my fist, a storm of nerves surging through me like electric currents. Each pulse ignited a sense of impending doom. With Dad away on a business trip, the house felt eerily quiet, leaving just the two of us in a world that suddenly seemed far larger and more foreboding. The hours stretched endlessly before me, each tick of the clock amplifying the tension as I braced for the storm about to unfold. What secrets lay hidden in her plans? I could feel the weight of anticipation pressing down, a palpable force that promised to change everything. The urge to escape the confines of my surroundings gripped me, a desperate need for the crisp, invigorating air to cleanse my troubled thoughts. I took a step into the unknown. The world outside beckoned with an unsettling promise of clarity. As I wandered through the shadowy paths of the nearby park, the haunting echoes of the previous morning replayed in my mind, each thought more chilling than the last. The haunting image of Lydia lingered, her eyes wide with shock, a deep crimson hue painting her cheeks, and the frantic escape she made from the room echoed in the silence that followed. As I returned, the sun hung perilously low on the horizon, casting long shadows that whispered secrets of the encroaching night. Through the kitchen window, I glimpsed Lydia, her movements frantic and purposeful as she prepared dinner, the air thick with unspoken tension. With a heart pounding in my chest, I inhaled sharply and crossed the threshold into the unknown. The tantalizing aroma of roasted chicken hung in the air, a siren's call that beckoned with promise, while the table lay meticulously arranged for two, each setting a silent witness to the unfolding drama. "Hey, Aiden," she said, her smile flickering like a candle in the wind, revealing an undercurrent of tension that hung in the air. "I've prepared your favorite, a dish that holds secrets and memories waiting to be unveiled. Will you dare to take a bite and uncover what lies within? Prepare yourself, for a feast awaits that will ignite your senses and leave you yearning for more." "Thanks, Lydia," I murmured, my voice barely above a whisper as I sank into the chair. The weight of the moment pressed down on me, the air crackling with tension as we dined. Each bite was a careful maneuver through the minefield of silence, skirting around the colossal truth that hung heavily between us. At last, as the plate lay barren before her, she lowered her fork with deliberate slowness and fixed her gaze upon me, a silent storm brewing in her eyes. "Aiden, about yesterday," she began, her voice trembling with uncertainty, as if the very air around us crackled with unspoken tension. The weight of my thoughts hung heavy as I finally met her gaze, a silent acknowledgement of the storm brewing within us both. With a heavy sigh, she let her fingers glide through her silver hair. Each strand whispered secrets of a past shrouded in mystery. The weight of unspoken truths hangs heavily, and I find myself compelled to confront the shadows between us. It's time for a reckoning, a moment where honesty must pierce the veil of silence that has enveloped us. In that dimly lit bathroom, chaos erupted. An accident, yes, but it unleashed a torrent of emotions I never anticipated. Emotions that clawed at the edges of my heart, feelings I believed I had long outgrown. A wave of disbelief washed over me, leaving me utterly paralyzed. I steeled my resolve, anticipating her dismissal, the words hanging in the air like a storm cloud, ready to unleash a torrent of denial as she declared her desire to erase it all from memory. Yet this revelation caught me completely off guard. "Lydia, what are you trying to convey?" I inquired, my voice trembling, barely escaping my lips, like a secret meant to be kept in the shadows. She inhaled sharply, her gaze piercing through the air, locking onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. "I've been sensing an undeniable tension between us, a force that has been building silently, waiting for the right moment to erupt. Deep within the shadows of my conscience, I grapple with the weight of my choices. I never intended for this chaos to unfold. Yet here we are, teetering on the brink of an irreversible fate. Yesterday, a haunting thought crept into my mind. Could it be that you too are ensnared by this unspoken connection? My mind was a tempest, a chaotic storm of confusion, excitement, and guilt, all colliding in a tumultuous frenzy. The truth loomed over me, undeniable and heavy, casting a shadow I could no longer escape. Lydia was a vision of beauty, her sharp wit and kindness illuminating the shadows around us. Our connection was undeniably electric, a spark that ignited a fire within me, one I could no longer pretend to overlook. Yet, she was my stepmother, bound to my father by vows that echoed through the halls of our home. A shadow loomed over the situation, a palpable tension hanging in the air. This was all kinds of wrong, wasn't it? Words escaped me, lost in the shadows of uncertainty. At last, I triumphed against the odds. You are the woman who stepped into my life, a figure cloaked in complexity and unspoken tension. And father? I know, Aiden, she interrupted, her fingers brushing against my hand, a spark of tension crackling between us. My heart beats with an intensity that echoes through the shadows of my soul, for I am utterly captivated by your father. Yet what stirs within me for you is unlike anything I've ever known. In a world shrouded in misunderstanding, we share a connection that defies explanation, a bond so profound it feels as if we are the only two souls who truly comprehend one another. Her touch startled something deep inside me, unfamiliar and impossible to name. Deep down, a voice whispered that I should retreat, that this was madness, that it could never succeed. Yet the pull was undeniable, a magnetic force drawing me closer to the edge of the unknown. I found myself unable to do so. Instead, I felt an irresistible pull, inching closer, my heart racing wildly, echoing like a relentless drum in the silence of the moment. Lydia, I began, unsure what I was even about to say. But then she moved closer, the tension between us becoming impossible to ignore, soft, hesitant, as if she were daring to dip her toes into the depths of the unknown. Then, as if the very heavens had opened, all the tension, all the yearning we had desperately contained, surged forth in a tumultuous wave. Our faces met in a charged silence. Neither of us dared to break, my fingers tracing the delicate curve of her arms, drawing her closer into the intoxicating embrace of the moment. In that ephemeral instant, the world around faded into oblivion, and nothing else held significance. Neither my father nor the repercussions that might define me. It was just Lydia and me, ensnared in a relentless tide, powerless against the forces threatening to consume us. But then, reality crashed down with a deafening roar. I tore myself free, gasping for air, my voice quaking with unrestrained emotion. Lydia, we stand at the precipice of a decision that could shatter everything. We can't do this. What fate has befallen father? What will become of us? Her gaze pierced through the shadows, a tempest of longing and remorse swirling within those depths, leaving me breathless in the charged silence that hung between us. Uncertainty hung in the air like a thick fog, and with a tremor in her voice, she whispered, I don't know, Aiden. The weight of her words lingered, a haunting echo of doubt that sent shivers down my spine. The truth weighs heavily on my heart, an undeniable force I can no longer mask. The shadows of my emotions loom large, and the time for pretense has vanished into the darkness. Yet, in the shadows of truth, you stand unwaveringly correct. We stand at a precipice, teetering on the edge of uncertainty. The weight of this moment presses down upon us, demanding our attention. What does this truly signify? What path shall we choose in the shadows of this revelation? I nodded, my chest burdened by the crushing weight of it all. As shadows loomed ominously around me, we had ventured into uncharted territory, and there was no turning back now. The days that followed merged into a haunting haze, each moment dripping with uncertainty and foreboding. Lydia and I danced on the edge of normalcy, yet an electric tension crackled in the air, lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt. Dad returned from his journey, blissfully ignorant of the tempest gathering within the walls of our home. I plunged headfirst into the relentless pursuit of a new job, yet my mind was ensnared by the haunting memory of Lydia, the kiss that lingered like a ghost, and the way her eyes had desperately sought mine, igniting a fire within me that refused to be extinguished. One fateful evening, a week after that pivotal moment, I stumbled upon her on the porch, her eyes locked onto the horizon, where the sun bled into the sky, casting an eerie glow that hinted at secrets untold. I joined her, and we sat in a heavy silence, the air thick with unspoken words as the sky transformed into a breathtaking canvas of pink and orange. In the shadows of uncertainty, a tale unfolds, a gripping account of events that would forever alter the course of fate. What transpired remains shrouded in mystery, each moment teetering on the edge of revelation, waiting to be unearthed. The air thickens with tension as the truth looms just beyond reach, beckoning the brave to seek it. So did I confessed, my heart racing as the weight of the truth hung in the air. The thought haunts me, an unrelenting shadow that grips my mind, refusing to let go. She turned to me, her expression heavy with unspoken truths, a storm brewing in her eyes. The time has come, Aiden. We stand at a crossroads, and a decision looms over us like a dark cloud, threatening to unleash its storm at any moment. We stand at a precipice, a moment fraught with tension. It is now or never. Either we sever this thread before it spirals into chaos, or we delve into the unknown and uncover the truth that lies beneath what we desire deep within the shadows of our hearts. My throat tightened as I fought to keep my composure. Thoughts spiraled into a whirlwind of uncertainty. In that moment, the weight of truth crashed down upon me like a thunderclap, reverberating through the very core of my being. She was right, and the realization sent shivers down my spine, igniting a firestorm of doubt and fear. What had I overlooked? What consequences lay ahead? The air thickened with tension, and we could no longer linger in this suffocating fog, feigning that all was well, when the truth was a dark abyss, lurking just beneath the surface. "What is it that you desire, Lydia?" I whispered, my voice trembling on the edge of silence. Her eyes glistened, a tempest of sorrow and longing swirling within their depths. Uncertainty hung in the air like a thick fog, and with a tremor in her voice, she whispered, "I don't know, Aiden." The weight of the unknown loomed over us, casting shadows on our path forward. My heart pounded, overwhelmed by feelings I didn't yet understand. Yet the thought of causing my father pain sent shivers down my spine. I fear the impending chaos that could shatter everything I hold dear. The weight of my decision hangs heavily in the air. The thought of causing him pain sends shivers down my spine. I am torn, caught in a web of emotions, desperate to shield him from the storm brewing within me. I uttered, my heart heavy, with an unbearable weight. Yet I find myself unable to escape the overwhelming tide of emotions that swirl within me for you. As she reached out, her fingers entwined with mine, a jolt of electricity surged through me, anchoring my very soul in a moment that felt both perilous and profound. Perhaps we should pause to unravel the tangled threads of our fate, to unveil the depths of our true emotions, stripped of the suffocating weight of pressure and the haunting shadows of guilt. I nodded, my grip tightening around her hand, a silent promise hanging in the air between us. Perhaps, just perhaps, that could be the turning point we've been waiting for. As the sun sank into the abyss, we remained there, fingers intertwined, acutely aware that the storm brewing ahead would irrevocably change the course of our existence. We were shrouded in uncertainty, the answers eluding us like shadows in the night, far from our grasp. Yet in the shadows of uncertainty, we clung to one another, our bond a flickering flame against the encroaching darkness. In that fleeting instant, it felt like everything had converged into a singular truth, a breath held in the silence of uncertainty. It was enough, but the shadows whispered of what lay beyond, lurking just out of sight, waiting for the next heartbeat to shatter the fragile peace. The days ahead loomed ominously, shrouded in uncertainty, and a nagging question clawed at the edges of my mind. What dark secrets lay hidden behind her words? We need to talk, scrawled in that note I had stumbled upon. Had she been grappling with this torment all along, hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt? Did she dare to confront the storm brewing within her heart? But what if there was a hidden truth lurking beneath the surface, something she had been desperately concealing? Aiden's world was never meant to twist this way, but sometimes it's not betrayal that wounds most. It's the secret you carry alone. Would you have walked away, or would you have stayed, knowing how it might end? Let me know in the comments. What would you do if your stepmother crossed that line? If this story struck you deeply or left you breathless, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and join me tomorrow for another true infidelity story. Because some truths demand to be told.